Chosen one, stop everything right now. This message was sent to you tonight, not tomorrow or next week, because God just broke through 3 firewalls. Now is the time to click away, because if you don't, you will miss the message that has been trying to get to you for months. This isn't another video. That's right. Your spirit already knows that this is an emergency message from the 5th dimension. That's why reading the title made your heart beat faster. That's why when you saw this thumbnail, something in your chest got tight. You're not here because of a puzzle. There was a break in a seal with your name on it at 11:47 p.m. 13 minutes before divine midnight. That's why you are here. And what's inside that seal can't wait until morning. The Holy Spirit stopped you from scrolling. Turned your attention to these words and put you right here at this very second. Because tonight isn't a fluke. You're getting married tonight. When you were 7 years old, half asleep or crying in your car last month, you asked this question. You don't remember asking, but the date was written in heaven and the answer comes tonight. But I need to tell you something. You'll be shocked by what I'm about to tell you about why you've been suffering, why God has been silent, and what you are really being prepared for. And you can't forget what you know. If you're going to leave, do it now. Still here. After that you can start the download. This broadcast has 3 transmissions. The first one starts in 90 seconds and the other 2 will not make sense if you miss it. I can't give you the third one until you understand why tonight is the night the seal broke. So pay close attention. Your name is written on a file in heaven, not your pet name, the name on your birth certificate, or the name your mom said over your head before you could talk. That file has been locked up since you were born. And tonight that seal just broke open for the first time in your whole life. Snorts, but in church they don't tell you this. God did not seal that file. Yes, you sealed it before you came into this body. Right before you breathed your first breath on earth, you asked for something in heaven. Don't let me remember too soon, you said. I need to be strong enough to carry this information before you let me see it, because I will try to force the mission before I have put together my team. If I know who I am before I have been tested. The silence you thought was abandonment was actually your plan before you were born. And the clock that you set before you were born just stopped at midnight. Here's what it says. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. But kruo is the Greek word for knock. Also, kruo is not a light tap. It sounds like urgent pounding from the military. The kind of knock that says, I don't have time to be nice. Open now before the time runs out. That's the knock you've been hearing in your spirit for a week or more. That restlessness, that sense that something is about to burst, that's not worry. That sound is heaven banging on your mental door and telling you the seal is breaking. Are you all set? But before we go any further, I need to figure out what's wrong. Because most of you who are watching aren't just tired. No, you're not just lost. You are going through something that the church doesn't have a name for. I do though. This is known as spiritual gaslighting. For those of you who have been feeling it, those words just made your whole body react. Your throat might have gotten tight. It's possible that your chest got heavy. Maybe your eyes hurt because someone is finally calling out the name of the thing that has been eating you alive behind your back. People are spiritually gaslight when they see real signs, hear real synchronicities, or get real downloads from heaven, but no one else can confirm them. So, you start to question what you think you know. You start to think, maybe I'm not telling the truth. Perhaps I'm crazy. I might not be chosen. Maybe I'm just really needy. I will show you what spiritual gaslighting looks like. It's 2 a.m. and you're in your bedroom. The phone is blue when it's dark. You are searching and scrolling to find one more proof that you are not crazy. This is the 5th time this week that you've seen 3s and 33 on the clock. Also, a stranger told you the same thing you heard in a dream 3 months ago, 2 days ago. You could have written down every word God said to you last week because it was so clear. However, when you tried to share it, the other person thought you were crazy. Am I chosen or am I crazy? You ask yourself as you sit alone in the dark. And now for the thought you don't say out loud because it makes you feel bad and thankful. If I'm so great, you might ask, then why does my life look this way? Why am I still having trouble? Why am I still by myself? Why do I have to wait? That thought isn't doubt. It's not a lack of faith. That is the damage left over from spiritual gaslighting because at some point someone told you that being chosen means you won't have to feel pain. When the pain didn't go away, you began to doubt that the choosing was real. But let me explain what the pain was like. In no way was it punishment. God wasn't ignoring you. It was getting ready. Every betrayal taught me how to be smart. Every loss taught me how to cut ties. Every second of silence taught me how to trust myself. You were not being left behind. You were being taught. I lie awake, says Psalm 10:27. I feel like a bird sitting alone on a roof. Shake out is the Hebrew word for lie awake. It doesn't just mean not being able to sleep. It means to watch without falling asleep. To be very alert like a soldier on guard. The psalmist isn't upset about not being able to sleep. He is talking about a spiritual duty. You're waking up at 3 a.m. and not being able to sleep when everyone else is. That's not a problem with sleep. That's shaka. Keep an eye on things. You are watching over something spiritual that other people can't see. You didn't hear that though. You thought you were broken. And this is where it gets clear. 7 things show that someone is spiritually gaslighting you. And you should keep track of how many you've had in the last 6 months. Sign 1 scene. You get clear instructions, but when you try to follow them, everything goes wrong. You begin to believe that what you heard was false. Snorts, the second sign is that you see patterns everywhere. Numbers, names, and phrases that are used over and over again make you feel like you are being watched. But when you bring it up, people tell you you're making too much of it. The third sign is that you have a deep knowing about your purpose but can't find any natural evidence to support it. No clear paths or reassurances, just a strong belief that won't go away. The fourth sign is having dreams that are too real to be real. You get instructions, warnings, or information in your dreams that you couldn't have known, but you're afraid to follow them because you don't want to be wrong. Fifth, you feel like your energy is different from everyone else's. Not better or worse, just different. You sound like you're tuned to a frequency that no one else can hear. Sixth sign, people tell you things at random. Someone tells you their secret. People you know cry for no reason when they're with you. It seems like everyone is talking about you and you don't know why. And symptom 7, which is the most lonely, it seems like you are living in 2 different worlds at the same time. The one everyone can see and the one you can only see and acting like they are the same has worn you out. There are 3 signs that you are in the early stages. If you have 5, you are in very bad shape. You are right where you need to be for this transmission if you have all 7. Because if you get all 7, there isn't much between you and your assignment. We're going to tear it tonight. God says in Jeremiah 1:05, I knew you before I formed you in the womb. I made you special before you were born, but watch what comes next. Jeremiah replies in verse 6, Alas, sovereign Lord, I do not know how to speak. I'm too young. Can you see it? He just heard from God. You are different. You have been chosen. You have been picked. Jeremiah's first answer is I am not ready. That's how someone who is being spiritual gaslight reacts. God is saying one thing, but Jeremiah's life is screaming something else. And the cognitive dissonance is very hard to handle. But God doesn't make a fuss over it. The Bible doesn't say, no, you are ready. Don't say, I'm too young. God says, you'll say whatever I tell you to everyone I send you to and go there. To put it another way, ready is not true. Not being ready is not what you should feel. You should feel like you were picked. Choose means to be ready when you need to be, not before you need to be. Don't wait until you feel ready to do something. You'll never be ready. The mission is bigger than what you can do on purpose. If you were strong enough to do it on your own, you wouldn't need God. Please know that every seed you plant in this mission grows into a torch that shines in someone else's darkness. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. But more than your support, we want your presence. When you head to our community through the link in the description or the pinned comment, you aren't just visiting a site. You are entering a community of like-minded believers. This is a sanctuary where you can post your prayer requests, lift up the burdens of others and engage in daily discussions with a family that speaks the language of faith. Whether you are joining one of our membership tiers for deeper study, sowing a seed of faith, or simply joining our daily morning prayers, you are helping us build a global altar of worship. Heaven moves through willing voices, but it grows through a community that stands together. Each gift you give acts as living water for those in our community seeking healing and hope. Give, snorts, and it will be given to you is the promise that sustains our shared mission. I invite you now to step out of the shadows and into this circle of prayer. Come with purpose. Join the conversation and plant your seed in fertile ground. Let's open the heavens together. Release your seed today. Join our community and see what God brings back into your life. I haven't told you this yet, though. This part will change everything. The sealed file with your name on it. It's not a map of your destiny. It's not a list of things you need to do. I thought that for years. That's what most teachers will say. That's not what it is, though. You did things in the spiritual world before you were born. And this file is proof of those things. It's not true that you can read minds. Your mind is wandering back to the past. You already agreed to do this. You agreed to do this task on your own. You said yes before you came here. This evening, the seal broke. That's not God finally telling you what the plan is. That means you are now ready to remember what you already knew. It won't feel like new information when that memory comes back. It's going to feel like home. The real question is why the file was locked up in the first place. Why the wait? Why are you waiting? Why is there no sound? What do you think the reason is? It's not. And that's what the second message is about. The file was locked up because you weren't ready for how heavy the truth was. It took time for your nervous system to get stronger. Your body would have given out from the weight of remembering who you were too early or seeing your whole assignment from when you were a child. Your relationships would have been broken if you tried to hold on to both realities at the same time. Your mind would have broken. In his kindness, Godin encrypted the data. He locked the time. He set it so that it would automatically decrypt when your frequency matched the message. Now is that time. They will tell you that most of the time. That's the answer from Sunday school. The one that makes God look wise and ready to protect. It's true. It's not the whole truth, though. They don't tell you this. It wasn't just God who was quiet. You told them to do it. As you stood in the planning room of heaven before coming into this body, you looked at the task. That's what you saw. You knew how much it would cost and asked for it. Don't let me remember too soon. You said, because I'll try to force the mission before I have my team together. If I know who I am before I have been tested, I'm going to move at my own pace instead of God's. And I'll be worn out before I even start. That's why you asked for the delay. You made the silence happen. You choose when to start the timer. It wasn't abandonment to wait. It was your own plan before you gave birth. This changes everything because of this. Because the silence wasn't a sign that you were forgotten if you asked for it. It was a sign from your future self that you were safe. The part of you that already knows how this story ends made sure that the part of you that is currently living, it would not destroy itself before it was over. That's the safe. Not a punishment or a puzzle, but a safety net. The timer has now run out, though. The lock is being opened. And what's inside isn't a picture of your future. You remember it from the past. Something to remind you of what you agreed to before you were born. He has made everything beautiful in its time, says Ecclesiastes 3:11. He has also put eternity in the heart of every person. This phrase eternity in the heart shows up 5 times in the Bible. Sometimes in Job 33 verse 15, Daniel 71, Acts 2 verse 17, and Joel 2 verse 28, the same thing is talked about pre-birth memory or the soul remembering what it knew before the body was born. You hold memories from before you were born in your heart, which means that you are eternal. And those memories are coming back to me tonight. But now comes the question, how can you get to what's inside if the lockbox is opening? How can you get the data back without changing it? How can you tell the difference between a real download and your own thoughts? That's what the Midnight Rule is for. There are 3 gates in the Midnight Protocol. Some of the chosen ones find the second gate, but not the third. Because of this, I had to make this broadcast tonight because Gate 3 only opens at certain times and you are in one of those times right now. Allow me to explain. One of the gates is the recognition gate. It's here that you learn to recognize the signs. Not just any signs, but the ones that are unique to your frequency. You see one leaven, but not every chosen one does. Not all chosen ones dream in signs. Your soul talks in its own language. And Gate 1 is where you learn how to figure it out. This is how you get through the first gate. In the next 2 days, you'll notice 3 things that don't seem like they could be random. Someone might say something that sounds like something you thought this morning. It could be a number that appears 3 times in 3 different spots. You might remember something from your childhood that you haven't thought about in a long time. In that case, don't brush it off. Do not try to explain it. Say it out loud. Say, I see you. This looks like a sign to me. The important thing is that you say, thank you. It opens gate 1's lock. One of the gates is the validation gate. Now you test the sign to make sure it's real and not just a thought, because most spiritual leaders won't tell you this truth. Not all signs come from God. The signs you see are caused by your own desperation. Some are from the enemy to keep you from focusing. You need to understand the difference. This is how you prove it. There are 3 things a real sign will do. To begin, it will bring calm, not chaos. The delivery will feel steady even if the message is strong. Second, it will be in line with the Bible. God's words do not go against each other. Third, you will have to grow, not just stay comfortable. Real signs make you feel like you're on the edge. You are free to go to gate 3. If a sign checks all 3 boxes, gate 3 is the one that sends bits. Here is where you'll get the download itself along with the instructions, information, and exact next steps. This is why gate 3 only opens at certain times, because files you download are more than just data. They give off energy and your body can only handle certain frequencies at certain times. One of those times is midnight. Not midnight in a figurative sense. At midnight exactly. The veil between the spiritual and physical worlds is thinnest at the end of the day and the beginning of the next. That's why you have more clarity when you wake up at 3 a.m. than when you wake up at 3 o'clock p.m. That's why the worst times in your life always seem to happen in the middle of the night. It's the best time for heaven to talk to earth. Matthew 25:6 says, "At midnight there was a shout. Here is the groom. Meet him outside." This is the story of the 10 virgins. But bear in mind the specifics. Why at midnight? Why not in the morning? Why not in the evening? Since midnight is the line between things, the threshold, the entrance, it's not a disorder that you have insomnia. Your restlessness at night is not a sign of stress. When transmission hours come around, your spirit wakes up. Your mind doesn't understand the frequency, but you are on it. Here's what you should do tonight at 11:47 p.m. 12 hours and 13 minutes ago. Think about doing this. Picture yourself standing in front of a door. This isn't any old door. It's a door made of light. Your past self, who has already finished the mission, is on the other side of that door. The one who knows how this story ends already. Think about knocking 3 times and waiting each time. Do not try too hard. Don't think about what you want to happen. Wait and see what happens. Some of you will hear something. Some people will see a picture. Some of you will get a sudden feeling in your chest that you know. Write down whatever comes to you right away. Not tomorrow, tonight. Because if you don't anchor your downloads, they will disappear quickly. That's how things are done at midnight. Recognition, validation, and transmission are the 3 gates. And if you do it exactly the way I told you to, you will find information that has been locked away in your spirit for years. But you might be wondering if this really works or if it's just a spiritual theory. I want to talk about someone I call the engineer. Even though I can't use his real name, he called me crying at 4 a.m. after following the midnight protocol exactly as I had taught it. And I don't mean happy tears. He was shocked and in tears because what he heard was so clear and certain that it destroyed all doubts he had been having for 3 years. The engineer had been stuck in his job. He knew how to do it. This man had the degree. But every door he tried to enter shut behind him. He began to think that God might not want him in that field, which was a lie. He might have heard his calling wrong. Then he found this teaching, and on a Tuesday night he did what it said. He went through the first gate and saw the signs he had been ignoring. He kept hearing a phrase that his grandfather used to say when he talked to strangers. He said out loud that he knew it. He went to gate 2 and checked it out. The phrase made things better. It was in line with the Bible, and he had to take on a level of leadership he had been avoiding. Checked all 3 boxes. Then at 11 inches 4:07 p.m. he stood at the mental door, knocked 3 times and waited. It wasn't a feeling that came through. It was a clear voice that couldn't be heard. It said his childhood name, which was a name only his late grandmother used. After that, it told him what to do. You should apply for the job you don't think you're qualified for. Last week you looked at it but closed the tab because it was too big. He thought his mind was going blank. But he had promised to follow the downloads. This is why he applied the next morning. Here's what took place. In 3 hours, someone called him back. Not 3 days, 3 hours. Why, we're not even going to interview anyone else. But something told me to open your resume. The hiring manager said he was in the job within 6 weeks, and in just 6 months his income had tripled. That's not even the miracle. That's what the miracle was all about. The voice that told me what to do did not sound like God. He said, it seemed like the person I was when I knew this would all work out. It's like that when you go through gate 3. You don't just get information from God. It comes from your future self to you. There is a part of you that exists outside of time. This part has been down this path before and is now leading the part of you that is still going down it. In 1 Samuel 13 verse 10, we read about how Samuel heard God's voice. But pay attention. He heard it 3 times before he knew it was God. For the first 2 times, he thought it was Eli because messages from God often sound like your own thoughts. They don't come with a loud boom and a choir of angels singing. They come as a whisper that is both strange and familiar, a sudden clarity or a knowing that is just there. The engineer's experience is exactly the same as Samuel's. Something that didn't sound like him was what he heard when he did what he was told. Reality changed to match what he had done. So that's what you can get tonight. Never wait until you are more spiritual tonight. As this awakening grows inside you, know that helping with this mission is not a joke. It is a sign from God. You can support this work through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our Koi community. By doing so, you become part of Jesus' plan to save souls who are still stuck in fog. Every seed turns into light that fights against darkness. If you water others, you will be watered yourself. Jesus says this is not history. It is a living promise about your future. Come into this moment with faith and a plan. What God has already planned for your life can be unlocked through your giving. I haven't told you this yet, though. The midnight rule works. A lot of people have had it work for them. But I've also seen what happens to people who learn it but don't use it. When people nod their heads, they get ideas and then go back to waiting for a more clear sign. What happens to them is worse than not knowing the rules at all. They know there is a door now. Now that they know there is a way out, they choose not to go through it, which causes a different kind of pain. How the chosen ones suffer when they are awake enough to see the way but too scared to take it. I need to know if you want to be like the engineer or like the people who learn but never use what they've learned. You will need to do more than just listen for what comes next. You will have to move for it to happen because most people don't want to hear this. You haven't moved forward yet. Not because you're not ready. It's not because God hasn't set you free. It's because you're scared of what will happen if you succeed. That's it again. You're not scared of failing. There are 100 other reasons you haven't talked about your fear of winning because it makes you feel bad. You tell yourself that you need more time to get clear. You tell yourself you'll wait some time. You tell yourself that you trust God's timing. All of that could be true. But there's a question you don't want to say out loud. What if my prayers come true? Then I show that I didn't deserve it. What if I step into my power and everyone I love leaves me because they only love the weak me? How about if my success makes me a target? If being seen makes me vulnerable, what should I do? What if the curse is worse than the blessing? All of those thoughts that you have been ignoring because you feel bad about them are not signs of weak faith. Those are signs of someone whose spirit knows how bad things are going to get. It's after your body to keep you safe. But now comes the part that will turn everything on its head. That fear is not the enemy. Most teachers will tell you to get over your fear. Beat it. Pray it away. Or starve it. You have tried. There are no more affirmations for you. You used verses from the Bible. You've said that you're more than a conqueror. But the fear keeps coming back. Do you know why? Because you're not supposed to be able to get through it. It's something you should bring with you. It's not a sign that you should be afraid to take on full authority that you feel that way. Fear only comes out when there is real power. So that is a sign. I don't think you would be scared if this mission or calling was fake. You wouldn't care either way. You are getting close because you are scared. When you think about the next step, your hands shake. This means that the next step is real. Fear doesn't want to stop you. The fear is your guardian. You can only see it when you are about to touch something important. When Moses stands in front of the bush that is on fire, God tells him, I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people out of Egypt. Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh? Moses asks, who am I to lead the Israelites out of Egypt? That is how we react to fear. Not I can't do this, but who am I? And this is very important. You are amazing. Is not something God says. It's okay for you. You're enough. God tells us, I will be with you. That is your lack of competence does not bar you from being eligible. The whole point is that you are not good enough. If you were strong enough to do this on your own, you wouldn't need God. And if you don't need God for it, it's not your real job. Things were the same for Gideon, Jeremiah, and Esther. Every single one of them said, I am not enough. When they were called, every single time, God said, I know. That's why I sent you. Don't wait for the fear to go away. It's not going to happen. Don't wait until you're ready. You won't move because you're afraid. Start obeying even though you're shaking. Because being brave doesn't mean not being afraid. Fear that said yes anyway is courage. I have something else to say though. I have kept something from you until now because you wouldn't have believed me if I told you at first. You've come this far, though. You stuck around through the pain. You're ready to hear it now. There's a reason why this broadcast found you tonight. The seal broke today, not last month, for a reason. You are hearing this message at this very moment in your life for a reason because you're getting married tonight. It's not your birthday, not the birthday of a very important person or event. The day you prayed for the first time, the person you talked to before knew how to use religious language. The one you told God in a whisper when you were being honest. The one that went like this. God, please use me. If you are real, it doesn't matter how much it costs. It doesn't matter to me what I have to go through. Please give my life some meaning. You have forgotten how you prayed it. You might have thought it didn't matter because you were too young, too broken, or too far from God at the time. But God heard it. Heaven wrote it down. The date was written in heaven. Right now, whether you know it or not, you are in the 48-hour window of that prayer's anniversary. Not quite today, but close enough that there isn't much space between then and now. God doesn't answer prayers right away. He answers them just at the right time when the answer will have the most effect. And tonight is that night for you. For the revelation waits for a set time. Habakkuk 23 says it talks about the end and can't be wrong. Wait for it. Even if it takes a while, it will come for sure and won't be late. Mod is the Hebrew word for a set time. Also, mod doesn't mean whenever. It refers to a certain time on God's calendar, a celebration, a get-together, or a divine date. Your big idea is still on time. It has been set and the date has finally come tonight. But here's what you need to know. When the enemy makes a breakthrough, the attack gets stronger because they know things you don't yet. He knows what will happen in 40 days. He knows when certain doors will open. He knows which relationships are about to change. He knows what you're going to become. He is going to try to stop it. Not when attacks are clear. Not with lightning and demons taking over. With sneaky planned ones that you won't be able to spot unless someone tells you exactly what to look for. So, I'm going to tell you that in the next 40 days, starting tonight, you will face 7 specific types of attack. They will come in a certain order, not at random because the enemy has a playbook. And once you know it, you can stop every move before it happens. The moving attack is the first type. This is the point where you have a sudden strong urge to leave. Get out of things that are working for you, like your job, your city, your relationship, or anything else. You feel like you need to move so badly that you think it must be God telling you to. Here's how you can tell it's not God, though. The sense of urgency doesn't come with peace. There is a lot of stress and panic. You think something bad will happen if you don't move soon. That is not guidance from God. That is interference from the enemy. The enemy knows what's in the place you're leaving. He knows the person you're about to meet. He is trying to move you 48 hours before the conversation that is going to happen because he knows it is going to happen. Here is the plan to fight back. Don't move for 72 hours. If there is still a sense of urgency after 3 days and there is now a sense of peace about it, then it might be okay. But if it goes away and you think, what was I thinking? Well, that was displacement. If you want to hide your identity, use the second form. This is the moment when you suddenly forget who you are on a spiritual level. One morning you wake up and ask yourself, am I really chosen? Was that something I made up? It's possible that I am just crazy. Perhaps I'm not unique. I could be imagining this whole thing. You have those kinds of thoughts all of a sudden, even after you've been sure. There is no doubt about that. We call that scramble. That's why the enemy is blocking your signal. If he can make you forget who you are, you won't be able to do assignments that depend on your identity. This is the counter. Say your full name 3 times in your head. Then say, I came from the Most High God. I have been given this mission. This wasn't my choice. I was picked and chosen. Means quipped. Say it until the fog goes away. It will get better. This is the third type of blessing we can use. This is the most sneaky. This is when a good chance comes up. Not a bad one, a good one. There is a logical reason for it. It would help you with some things. It would make you feel better. And everyone around you believes you should accept it. In your spirit, though, it feels like it's time to settle down. It seems close enough. It's like the enemy is telling you, I can't stop you from being blessed. I will give you a blessing that is just right to make you give up on finding the great one. This is how you check it. Ask yourself, does this chance require me to give up my current assignment? Does it mean I have to put off doing what I know I need to do? It is substitution. If the answer is yes, if you said no and it actually helps you finish your work faster, then it's real. Now, I'll talk about forms 4 and 5. But I can't give you the full breakdown until you've gone through the first 3. That's because forms 4 and 5 only make sense after you've gone through forms 1 through 3. Form 4 is the crisis that was made up. This is when a problem shows up out of the blue and needs your full attention. It's like life or death. It seems important, but when you take a step back, you see that it is only important in the short term. It's just a distraction that looks like an emergency. The 5th form is the betrayal echo. When someone close to you says or does something that makes you think of the worst betrayal you've ever experienced. It puts you back into defense mode just when you need to be opening up. And forms 6 and 7. People will be afraid for 30 days if I tell you what they are before you are ready. That's why I can't even name them yet. And being afraid of the attack is worse than being attacked. But let me tell you something. The last tests are forms 6 and 7. The ones that separate those who finish from those who give up 3 feet from the gold. Because of what I've taught you so far, you will know who they are when you face them, which you will. Ephesians 6:12 states, For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world. Paul wrote that while he was in jail, he wasn't making a guess. He was giving evidence. He knew what the forms were while he was experiencing them. Also, 1 Peter 5 verse 28 says, Be alert and clear-headed. The devil, who is your enemy, stalks around like a roaring lion looking for someone to eat. Fight him off, not giving up on the faith. Antisteter is the Greek word for refuse. It's a military word. It means don't attack or run away, but stand your ground. Do not give up. You shouldn't go on the attack for the next 40 days. Your job is to stand. Name the attacks as they come. Defend yourself against them. And keep going even though you're being shot at. This is what the enemy doesn't want you to know. You are on the right track because of the attacks. Unless you were going the wrong way, he would leave you alone. When he throws everything at you, it means you're getting close to something he doesn't want you to get to. Don't freak out when Form 1 hits, which it will. Oh, that's displacement. You say, I see you. I know who you are, and I'm not moving. Do not spiral when Form 2 hits. You could call that identity scramble. I understand who I am. I know who sent me. And all the static won't help me forget. Do not jump when Form 3 appears as a blessing. Try it out. Do not do anything for 72 hours. It will still be there if it's real. If it's substitution, it will go away. But this is what comes next. This is the part that most people aren't ready for. Once you make it through the first 3 types of attack, once you know what they are and stand your ground, something changes. There's no more school for you. Stop being someone who is always looking for the next big thing to happen. You change into something else. You turn into a sender. This is where things change. You've been in receiver mode up until now, waiting for signs, downloads, and confirmation. And that had to be done. The language was something you had to learn. You had to make the capacity bigger. But there is a point where sending starts and receiving stops. That time is now. But I need to finish the playbook first, snorts, because Forms 4 through 7 are still on the way. And if you don't know what they look like, you might think they are random issues instead of planned attacks. Form 4 is the crisis that was made up. This is when something sudden and important comes up. There's a health scare, a financial emergency, or a relationship breakup that needs all of your attention. It's like life or death. You feel like you need to stop everything and take care of this. Now, however, this is how you can tell it was made. Take a step back and ask yourself, is this important or urgent? You'll understand that it's urgent but not really important. While it's loud, it's not a big deal. It needs an immediate response, but it's not actually a threat to your life. Urgent and important are real crises. Made-up crises are the only things that matter. They are meant to take your attention away from the real spiritual move that is going on while you put out fires in the real world. The enemy is moving around in the spirit world. This is the counter. Ask God, is this mine to solve right now? Or is this a distraction before you do anything? And wait for the reply. If it is yours, you will be free to act. If it was made, you will feel resistance. And that resistance is God telling us, let it be. It will work out on its own. The 5th form is the betrayal echo. When a close friend or family member does or says something that makes you feel like the worst betrayal ever, even though the words and the situation are different, the way you feel is the same. You go right back to the same level of protection you were in the last time you were lied to. This is how you can spot it. It feels too much like home. That person did the same thing to me 5 years ago. It seems it can't be a coincidence because the echo is so clear. And this is what's going on. The enemy is making you react to a new person in the same way. You responded to the first person to shut you down. To shut you down, to get you to run. This is the counter. See it for what it is. A pattern being projected, not a new reality. And act in a different way than before. If you ran before, don't run this time. If you fought before, don't say anything now. If you break the pattern, the echo will not work as well. Form 6 is about the lack of resources. This is when your money, time, or energy all of a sudden runs out right after you decide to move up. You choose to do what they say. You do what God told you to do. Within 48 hours, you get a bill or an expense. Your schedule gets slammed and your body crashes. You think I must have heard wrong. God wouldn't tell me to do something and then take away the tools. I need to do it. Of course, He does that because the drought is a test. Will you obey even though money is tight? Or will you wait until you can afford to? This is the counter. Do the least amount of what you were asked to do. If you plan to start a ministry but don't have enough money, don't do it. Start talking to someone. Should you have planned to write a book, but don't have time, don't write it. Write one page. When resources are scarce, the act of obedience unlocks them when resources are plentiful. But first, you need to move. And Form 7, the last one, which has ended more callings than all the others put together. The seventh form is the crash. At this point, your body stops working at all. Extreme tiredness that doesn't go away with sleep, sudden illness that doctors can't explain, or sleep disturbances that are so bad you can't do anything. It comes at just the right time for you to act. One morning you wake up and you just can't get out of bed. It's not because you're lazy or sad, but because your body has turned off something. This is what's going on. The enemy knows that your spirit can't work if your body isn't online. So, he goes after the ship. Now for the hard truth. You can't fight this form by yourself. Form 7 needs a war of the whole group. You need to find someone to cover you while you're down. This could be your pastor, an intercessor, a mentor, or someone else. Because this attack is meant to put you in a bad position and then crush you while you're alone. This is the counter. Do not try to get through it. Do not try to push through it. Take a break, but call for help. Send a text message to someone right now saying I am being attacked. Please pray for me. That's not being weak. That's how you plan. You now know all 7. You will face at least 3 of them in the next 40 days. Some of you will have to deal with all 7. But you now have the plan. You can name them as they come in now. They lose 80% of their power when you name them. In John 7:38 it says, if anyone believes in me, as the Bible says, rivers of living water will flow from them, not to them. Inside is written in Greek as kilia. It means belly, soul, or core. You're not a bucket that's being filled up. You're a spring that makes things happen. You're not a student who is learning things. You are a source that makes frequency. But once you know that everything changes because you don't have to wait for the next download. You are becoming aware that you are the download. You don't have to tell people what you know. They need to be close to what you're carrying. This is what most teachers will say too. What are they going to say? You need to tell your story now that you are awake. You need to write about it. Tell everyone what God did for you. You need to speak up. That makes sense. It sounds like a transmitter does that. Senders don't work that way, though. There is no way for a transmitter to send words through presence. A transmitter sends out signals. A lot of you won't say anything. A lot of you won't post anything. A lot of you are not going to build a platform. It will change though everywhere you go. As soon as someone stands next to you, they'll get the clarity they've been looking for. They will make progress that they couldn't have made on their own when you are there. They will get downloads just because they are with you. Not because of what you said, but because you are broadcasting without trying. You are a portal that moves. It's not your job to explain the portal either. It's your job to be the guide. I want to talk about someone I call the teacher. The part about transmission didn't make sense to her. She thought it was a figure of speech. She thought transmitter meant making people feel better by sharing her story. And she kept waiting until she was ready. She never felt ready though, so she didn't say anything. Then she went to her third grade class one morning. 23 kids who wouldn't stop fighting every day. If you are real, God, use me. She thought as she stood at the front of the room. I've run out of things to do. She didn't say it out loud. She only thought it. After that, she just stood there for 10 seconds. The room became quiet. Peaceful quiet, not quiet for school. She had never seen that much quiet in that classroom before. Some kids, including a boy who never cried, began to cry. He then said, "I forgive my dad." She hadn't said anything about forgiving. She hadn't talked about dads. She didn't say anything. But the room's frequency changed. And the boy felt safe enough to let go of something he had been holding on to for years. 5 different students had big breakthroughs while she was around over the next 2 weeks talking to their parents, which they had been avoiding. They told the truth about problems they had been hiding. Thoughts they were afraid to voice about God. She told me, I didn't preach. I didn't preach the gospel. The frequency did the work. All I had to do was carry it. Following 6 weeks, her principal asked her, "What training did you take? Because you can see the difference in your classroom." The test scores went up. The incidence of bad behavior went down, and she couldn't say what was different because she hadn't done anything. She changed into something. People brought sick people out into the streets and put them on beds and mats so that Peter's shadow could fall on some of them as he walked by. Acts 5 spun-fit people were healed by Peter's shadow, not by his words or sermons, but by being close by and being there. You can receive the same anointing not because you are special, but because you have been assigned. Assignment comes with authority, and authority comes with frequency. Frequency changes reality. Don't wait until you're ready to share your story. Starting to understand that your presence is the story, and the people who are meant to receive from you will be drawn to you, without you having to do anything. Now though, I need to give you the schedule so you don't go into this without knowing what to expect. I'm going to tell you each day what will happen for the next 40 days. This is not true in general. You'll know this is real when day 7 goes exactly as I say it will. Numbers 14:34 states, "For 40 years, 1 year for each of the 40 days you explored the land, you will suffer for your sins." A cycle lasts for 40 days. It shows up 14 times in the Bible. The flood of Noah, Moses on the mountain, Jesus in the desert, and the spies in Canaan. It always goes the same way. 40 days of testing, changing, and putting into service. Your 40 days begin tonight. This is how each week will look from days 1 to 7, which is the activation week. This is when there are more downloads, dreams, and synchronicities. There are signs all over. Don't decide yet if they make sense. Just write them down. Note them down. Record their voices. Toss them in before they fade. Don't share them yet. Either. Let them get hard first. Days 8 through 20, the week of tests. Here, one of the 7 forms hits most often: form 1, 2, or 3. Most people give up at this point because they think it didn't work. After following the steps, nothing changed. The test doesn't prove that it didn't work, though. The test shows that it works. Use the counter strategies I gave you. Hold your ground, and by day 14, you'll see progress. The clear week is days 15 through 21. At this point, your assignment is completely clear, no longer vague or abstract. It will be easy for you to write in one sentence. I have come here to do this one thing. It could sound too big or too small. Both are right. Days 22, 28, the week of connections. Now is when your team starts to show up. Random people are reaching out. Chance meetings and old connections coming back to the surface. Not every person who comes up is for you. Some of them are tests. Be smart about it. But for the real ones, it will feel more like a reunion than an introduction. Days 29 through 35, the week of speeding up. Things go quickly. Chances, resources, and doors. It will feel like it can't last. It's not a permanent speed. It's just temporary speeding up to get you in place. Say yes to the things that make you feel scared and excited. Don't do the things that you feel like you have to. From days 36 to 40, which is the commissioning week, you will be given a clear order, a specific step to take to move on to the next phase. Maybe it doesn't make sense. Still do it. Do what it says right away. Even if it seems silly or small. The action you took is the key that starts everything else. That's your roadmap. You will not be the same person at the end of 6 weeks and 40 days. You will have a different name in the spirit world. A different job on earth and a different line of authority in your blood. I haven't told you this yet, though. This part is what no one talks about. The part that will either get you ready or kill you. There are costs to being successful. It costs more than you think. Getting ahead doesn't cost money. It's not time yet. It isn't even penance. Being successful means being alone. And no one gets you ready for it. If you become the whole person you were meant to be, these things will happen. People who knew you when you were younger no longer fit your needs. Not because you're better than them. Not because you think you're too good for them now, but because you changed how often you talk to them. And frequency tells you how close something is. The talks that used to make you feel good start to drain you. It gets hard to be in the places that used to make you feel good. People you used to call family feel like strangers to you now. And the shame and guilt of feeling like you're leaving people you love behind. You will be crushed by guilt if you don't know what's going on. People are not being left behind. You're going into a hallway. And there are no people in the hallways, but they're not where you're going. They're the way to get from where you are to where you want to go. This is what most people do when they look around and see that they are by themselves. They get scared. They believe I eroded. It wasn't my job to leave. God wouldn't call me to something that makes me feel so alone. They run back to the room they just left. Let's go back to the people who kept them safe. They went back to the version of themselves that everyone liked the rest of their lives. They think about what might have happened if they had kept walking. But let me tell you the truth. Not being alone is not the goal. The hallway is it. The frequencies from the old community are still in your body. So your new community has not arrived yet. People who are supposed to walk with you in the next season won't be able to find you until the last season is fully out. Don't go back. If you are in the hallway right now and feeling lonely because you are rising, do not think that the emptiness means you were wrong. Take it as a sign that you are in the middle. Between is the most important place you'll ever be because that's where you choose to become who you are. 11th number 5. The Israelites are in the desert and manna is being sent from heaven to feed them. And then they start to complain. We remember the free fish we ate in Egypt. They say the cucumbers, melons, leeks, onions, and garlic as well. We're no longer hungry, though. We only see this manna all the time. Can you see what they're doing? They're making slavery sound nice. They are in the desert and a miracle is keeping them alive. They are saying at least in Egypt we had variety. We knew what to expect back then. That is the nostalgia trap, and it will pull you back into bondage faster than any other attack. This is because our brains like pain that is familiar more than pleasure. That is new. The enemy is aware of this. He will make you miss the problems you had before. He will make you feel good about remembering the fight. He'll say in a low voice, "At least you had people back then." In that moment, you felt like you were okay. But being normal was never your job, pick it was. Here's what you should do. If you are in the hallway to get over being alone, you don't just sit there in the middle. You use your body to anchor the change so that the hallway doesn't become your home. What the 5 actions for integration are meant to do is that setting the morning frequency is the first thing that needs to be done. You say this to yourself every morning in the first 3 minutes after you wake up before you touch your phone or talk to anyone. My name is Ken Name. Today I carry the frequency of heaven. My presence is a signal. You don't say it out loud. You believe it. Feel your breath as you think it. Watch how the air comes and goes. That's you putting the statement into your body. Because words without air are just noise. But words that are spoken with breath have power. This works because your frequency can be programmed best when your brain waves are in theta state. Theta is the state you're in right after you wake up. So the first thing you think when you wake up sets the tone for the whole day. When most people wake up, the first thing they do is check their phone, which is full of chaos, news messages, and other people's emergencies. Then they wonder why their day feels like a reaction. If you tell your nervous system who you are before the world tells you who to be, on the other hand, your day will line up and you will notice it in 3 days. It will be easier for you to make choices. The way you talk to each other will feel right. It will keep you going longer. The second thing that happens is the midday recalibration. Take a 90-second break at noon or as close to noon as you can get. Focus on your solar plexus in your mind. That's the area right below your rib cage. Also ask one thing. Am I in the right place? Now don't use your mind to answer the question. Give your body a chance to talk. You are in alignment if you feel open, light and at ease. There is a problem with your alignment. If you feel tightness, weight or resistance, do not worry if you are not in alignment. Just pay attention to it. After that, make one small change. Get out of the meeting that feels forced. Send the text message you've been putting off. Don't do the thing you agreed to because you felt like you had to. The sun is at its highest point at noon, which is why it's important. The sun is also more than just a solid thing. It's a force of electricity. And this is the time when your body is getting the strongest signal from nature. So when you recalibrate at noon, you align your inner frequency with the frequency of creation outside of you. The third step is to write down what happened that evening before going to sleep. Every night you think about the day and pick out 3 things. 1 timing, 1 download, or 1 insight, and 1 person who showed up or reached out of the blue. There's no need to write it down, play it over and over in your head, look at it again, feel it again. Because going over things again trains your mind to notice the frequency work going on around you. People don't pay attention. So 90% of the time they miss the signs. But once you start writing things down, you become more aware. And by day 10, you'll see patterns you didn't see before. The weekly pattern review is the 4th step. Every week on the same day, go over the last 7 days in your mind. Find the thread. It's important to look for the link between the synchronicities because the days may seem random, but the pattern shows the plan. Ask yourself, what is the one theme that came up more than once this week? Something like a phrase, a name, or a feeling could have done it. After you find the theme, ask yourself, Snorts, what is this trying to tell me? The 5th step is to visualize the anchor object. Picture something that you see or touch every day in your mind. It might be your keys to your car. It might be the case on your phone. It might be a ring. And give it a meaning. Let that thing remind you. Every time you see or touch it, I am sending. I'm in line. I have a job to do. There is no need for you to carry anything. You already have the thing in your life. You are just changing what it means. Touching that object for 40 days will change your state right away because your nervous system will connect it with the frequency you have been building. These 5 things are not habits or rituals. They are reprogramming the brain. They help you connect the spiritual to the real world. And after 40 days, you won't have to do them anymore because the frequency will be set on its own. In Joshua 4 verse 6 and 7, God tells Joshua to gather 12 stones from the Jordan River to serve as a memorial for when your kids ask you one day, what do these stones mean? You can let them know this is where God stopped the water. You can say this is where we crossed. It is written in Hebrew as Zikaron. It doesn't just mean remember either. It means to remember, to put back together, or to put back together again what has been broken up. When things around you are falling apart, they can bring you back to spiritual moments. In this case, the anchor object does that. It remembers you even when everything around you tries to break you up. However, I need to now share the secret I kept from you until the end. Depending on whether you are ready to hear it, it will either set you free or make you sick. God's not going to tell you that you're unique. What have you been given? He is about to tell you. That's not your goal. You already know what you want to do. You feel it. Even if you can't put a name to it, no matter how hard you try to put something else in your mind, you can't get away from that pull or knowing. Your purpose is not a secret. The exact steps you take to turn what you know into what you do are called your protocol. It's the difference between having a vision and putting it into action. Most of the chosen ones die with the vision still alive because they never learned the protocol. But now comes the part that changes everything. You are not being picked. You remember that you were already there. The fights were not punishments. It was a training exercise. Every betrayal taught me how to be smart. Every loss taught me how to cut ties. Every second of silence taught me how to trust myself. You didn't find this broadcast, did you? This broadcast was planned. That breakdown you had last month was demolition, not destruction. This year, your being alone was more like being incubated than being rejected. Your recent confusion was caused by signal interference being cleared. You are not crazy when you think you are different from everyone else. It is correct. You are not like everyone else. Not better or worse, not the same. They were given a different frequency, mission, and time frame. The assignment you forgot is being given back to you tonight. This is not a new task. Your first assignment, the one you agreed to before you came into this world as a child. You dreamed about them and forgot about them when you woke up. The one that drove you crazy because no one else saw what you did. Tonight I'll remember things again. He chose us in Him before the world was made. Ephesians 1:24 says the Greek phrase for this is pro katos cosmo, which means before the world was made, which means before the stars, before time, before this version of you. All the days planned for me were written in your book before they came to be. Say Psalm 39:16. Your life was planned out before you lived it. You're not writing your own story. It is being done by you. And tonight you see the script for the first time. But just seeing the script isn't enough. You need to do something about it. That's where the commissioning comes in. Tonight you are going to be commissioned. Not asked for, not suggested or ordered. And you have to do commissioning. This is an order. Becoming the frequency guardian is your first task. No matter what happens around you, your main goal for the next 40 days is to hold the frequency. You stay calm when other people are panicking. When other people aren't sure, you stay sure, not because you're stronger, but because that's what you did. Someone will try to drag you into their chaos in the next 40 days. The hook will hit you. You'll feel the pull. Do not bite. Your steadiness will make them work again. The second task you have is to break the pattern. Your second mission is to stop your bloodline from repeating itself generation after generation. You have plenty where your family thinks they don't have enough. You have a victim story where they have a victim story. Not to make them feel bad, but to set them free. Pay attention to what you do or believe when you're stressed. And don't do that again. You are the last person the curse can reach. You are where the blessing starts. The third thing you need to do is be the bridge. Your third job is to communicate between realms. You are very good at both spirit language and earth language. It's your job to help people who only live in spirit or only in earth find a way to connect the two. When someone talks about a problem, help them by giving them spiritual insight and doing something, not just one or the other. You turn into the walking point of integration. Whom shall I send and who will go for us? God asks Isaiah in Isaiah 6:8. A response from Isaiah is, "Here am I, send me." Now take note of this. He volunteered after seeing how great God was. Not before. After an encounter, the commission comes. Not before. Because you had the encounter. You are now being hired. This broadcast was it. You've seen how beautiful it is. You have been given the information. Now you answer. And your answer isn't words. Your answer is obedience. Now we'll seal it. But before we seal it, you should get ready for a prayer that isn't like the others. This is a ceremony to turn things on. The seal won't work if you aren't fully present, if you are distracted, or if you are doing more than one thing at once. Now, here's what you do. Find a moment of peace. If you are in a public place, when you can pull over if you are driving, it's okay if you are lying down. But for the next 8 minutes, you need to give this your full attention. No matter where you are, clear the space in your mind. Picture yourself in a room that is completely empty. There is nothing but white walls, floors, and ceilings. You and God are the only ones there. Feel the peace. Feel how important this moment is. There is no prayer from you here. This is God talking to you through you. Your job is to speak for them, not write the book. I'm going to say something. You will repeat some words to yourself. And then we will make the seal together. We understand if you feel resistance. Keep going. It's okay to cry, get hot, or shake if you feel emotional. It's okay if you don't feel anything. You have to do the work whether you feel like it or not. 8 and 6 says that everyone stood up when Ezra opened the book of the law. Everyone in the room raised their hands and said, Amen, as Ezra praised the Lord. After that, they bowed down and worshipped the Lord while their faces were on the ground. When you're spiritual, your posture is important. You can also stand in your mind even though you can't stand right now. Picture yourself being ready to go. Keep your back straight, your head up, and your shoulders back. This is how a soldier stands when they are waiting for orders. We'll start now. I call on the name of Yeshua, which is greater than all names. I'm saying that the mood is changing right now. The veil is not thick. The doors are open. The emergency broadcast station in heaven is sending out signals at full power. All demonic interference, all doubt frequencies, and all fake signals were turned off. This is a holy time. The angels that are in charge of you are standing at attention. You're being talked about in the courts of heaven. Father, you see this person you chose. Everyone else didn't see the tears at 3 a.m., but you did see the prayers they said in the car when they couldn't get to church. You can see the times they almost quit but didn't. You can see how lonely they were. It was like a secret. It was crazy when there were signs that no one could confirm. There's self-doubt. Am I crazy? Thoughts. And maybe I made it all up. You say I saw it all, which I understand. I wrote it all down. I'm going to open the file tonight. I make the midnight protocol a permanent part of this person's life. I close all 3 gates. Authentication, transmission, and recognition, checkpoints from God's seal, the 40-day schedule. I give you the 7 types of conflict and the counter strategies that have already been downloaded. I promise to do the 5 things for integration every day. I make them a transmitter, a walking portal, and a frequency holder. I bound the spirit of spiritual trickery that made them doubt what they were seeing. I tie up the substitution blessing that will make things okay for them. I bind the fake crisis that will take attention away from the real move. I stop the imposter syndrome that had them shrink after they did well. Every voice that says you're not ready is chained, because ready is a lie. You were picked, and being picked means you have what you need. I turn on the transmission and seal it. People will feel something change everywhere you go. Even if you don't say a word, I seal the antenna add-on. You are now like a broadcast tower on foot. I shut off the ripple effect. Breakthrough will be passed down through your family tree both forward and backward in time. I promise that you will get the first confirmation checkpoint in 7 days. In 14 days, you'll face your first attack and you'll know what it is. In 21 days, your assignment will go from being fuzzy to clear. In 40 days, things, snorts, will be very different from how they are now. I promise that resources will come to you, not the other way around. I say that doors that were welded shut are about to open. I declare that relationships that were draining you will let go. I say that the wait is over. There is no more silence. The transmission is going strong. You will mark tonight as before and after. When you look back on it, this is the beginning, the burning bush or the road to Damascus for you. You remember who you are tonight. Let me ask you a question now and heaven will wait for your answer. Are you ready to carry this? Are you ready to stand out? Sometimes you have to grow up, lose some people, and be misunderstood. Are you willing to send even? When you don't feel like it, are you ready to stand up when other people fall? Say yes to yourself. Say what you really think. Heaven knew that. That was heard by the angels. I heard that. I also heard that. You have now been given orders. The activation is done. The waiter has taken you out of the room. You are being sent back into the wild, confusing wilderness. You have been kicked out of the season of preparation. You are now getting your work done. Don't say amen yet. Take a 10-second break from the noise. Take a break. Allow it to grow. Allow it to seal. Leave now and don't come back to normal. There is no longer any normal. You have been marked. You are now active. You have been sent. The emergency message is now over. You are about to enter your divine future. But remember, this breakthrough is not for you alone. Your testimony is the bridge someone else will use to reach their own miracle. Archangel Michael is inviting you to visit community through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. By joining our like-minded community, you are no longer praying in isolation. You are adding your voice to a global sanctuary where we discuss the Word daily and stand in the gap for one another. This is not poetry. When Jesus says give and heaven will open over you on this platform. Every seed you plant turns into oil for your destiny, fire for your calling and a hedge of safety for your family. Now is your time. Step into our community prayer wall. Share your heart and as you give, snorts, watch God multiply what you let go of. Let's finish this journey together. Visit our community now. Join the family and see your heavens open. Before we get to the end of this powerful story, let's reflect on this deep truth. You did not find this message by accident. This is a divine appointment meant specifically for you. You are being invited into a protected faith-filled community at the link in the description and pinned comment. A place where divine abundance is not just a hope but a promise built on the Word. By heading to the site right now, you are unlocking access to a sacred community of like-minded believers. When you join our membership tiers, you gain immediate entry to powerful content, daily devotions, and divine insights that are hidden from the world. This is your chance to enter a sanctuary where you will receive spiritual guidance, unwavering support on our prayer wall and speedy progress toward your destiny. Do not let this moment of destiny pass you by. Your breakthrough is waiting. Join our inner circle through the exclusive link in the description. This is how you guarantee you never miss the personalized messages and spiritual warfare tools meant to elevate your life. If you feel called to deepen your connection, the link is waiting for you in both the pinned comment and the description. For those who want to amplify this work and carry the light home, you can find our guided ebooks and Bibles in the pinned comment. Whether you join as a member or sow a seed through our resources, your presence and energy change the world. Take the step. Your abundance awaits.